Coming to you live from the JRE Tobacco Aladino Mobile Studios, it's the Cigar Pulpit.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm the Bishop of Bern, Nick, and no, I am not flying solo, despite what you YouTube people might be thinking. I'm joined today by Pinky.
It's your girl.
How you doing?
Good. How's it going?
Good.
Beautiful day.
It is a beautiful day, and thankfully you had some time to take out of it to sit and have a cigar.
I always have time for a cigar. Well,
No, you don't. No, you don't.
That's such a lie.
That is such a complete and bald-faced lie.
I tried to pull that off, and it didn't work.
You tried, but it was a fail. But that's okay. So today we're doing Smoker's Choice, and we're doing that because you've had a hell of an October. I've had a hell of an October, and it's only, at the time we're recording this, it's only 11 days old.
I know.
So we have plenty more to go. It's been a good, I don't want to make it sound
right.
like it's been bad. It's been
not traumatic.
It's been a great October, but it's been busy. And so, you're just bustle,
Yes.
go.
One thing to the next.
There's so much going on for me this weekend, and then I literally am done with my weekend. I have Monday to put my paper together, and then Tuesday I board a jet plane to Florida to go hang out with Ken Clarich at Ash and Ale. I'll get to more on that later. But anyway, it's just busy. So that's why we're doing a Smoker's Choice.
We needed one less decision to make.
Well, we needed the ability to have what we wanted.
Yeah.
Because we actually don't have a whole lot of just time to just do this. So let's make the most of it.
Yes.
So you went through your humidor, and you picked yourself out an Aladino Classic. Now you have the 6x50 Toro featuring a Honduran wrapper, Honduran Corojo binder, or it has a Habano wrapper, Honduran Habano wrapper, Honduran Corojo binder, and a Honduran Corojo and Habano filler.
That's a mouthful.
I know, it's a lot of Honduran.
It is.
Yeah, but that's a good cigar. I really like that, and I actually did have me one of those just last night on my patio.
Oh, really?
Yep. So,
I think I've had this before. See, I'm still at the point I don't track what I smoke.
I know I've had that one before, but that's just because I know.
But you and I were talking before you push record. I need to do a much better job because I take a picture of every time I smoke.
Yeah.
I need to do a better job of putting that into like a subfolder on my phone.
Have like a cigar subfolder.
Yes.
Yeah. See, and you know what you can do with that? You can. Do you use the favorites folder on your iPhone?
On my pictures?
Yeah.
Yeah, like when you heart something.
When you heart something?
Yes.
You do use that? Never mind. All right, never mind.
Yeah.
So I am smoking the Bandolero Serie T Traficantes. It is a 5.5 by 54 featuring an Ecuadorian wrapper, and otherwise it's undisclosed binder and filler. It comes to us from Nelson Alfonso of Selected Tobacco, and I'm looking forward to it because let me tell you guys, the Bandolero, it's good. You got Atabey, Byron, and then Bandolero, and Bandolero still way above so many other things. So I'm looking forward to it. Anyway, time to go ahead and cut the cigar. The official cutting is brought to you by Dan the Man Ponder over there at Riverman Cigar Company. And guys, Dan the Man Ponder at Riverman Cigar Company, he's got a full humidor of all kinds of great cigars that you want to try out. So if you're in the St. Louis area, swing on by, check it out. He's got the walk-in, he's got the cabinets. There's all kinds of stuff always coming in. It's just unreal. And then speaking of Aladinos, I do know he's getting in the Aladino Sumatra. So those should be shipping. If they haven't started shipping by now, they should be shipping soon. So you're going to want to make sure you check out Dan the Man Ponder for those.
Is that the one they only had 500 boxes of?
No, this is their fall release.
Oh, okay.
But it's super good.
Really? Okay.
I had one of those on the show recently with Trey Mack, and it was super tasty. You and I had the one that was the PCA release where they only had the 500 boxes released.
It's coming back to me now.
Yes. Different one, but still very good. But then if you're in the St. Louis area, swing on by, check it out, hang out in the lounge, have a good time. If you're not in the St. Louis area, though, he does mail order, so you can give him or Miss Cindy or somebody there a call, and they'll get a nice shipment of cigars sent to you right away.
That's what I'm going to do. Yeah. Remember right before this when I was digging through my humidor and I was like, I need to restock. I really need to make it out somewhere. Nope, I'm just going to do what I did last time.
Just give Miss Cindy a call.
send them a message. I give them like 2 or 3 things I definitely want, and then dealer's choice the rest.
You know, Miss Cindy made a comment that prompted something at my haircut earlier today, which we will get to that in a minute
can't
as
wait to
well.
hear that story.
But anyway, it's time that we go ahead and cut the cigar. And Riverman Cigar Company, Crest, Missouri. Time to cut. All right, whatever. Shanked it.
Let's go.
That's what it is. Okay. Oh, I still have schmuckus in my cutter from last night. Could have swore I got that out. I think that's the butt end of an Aladino Classic.
Oh. Now, there's a couple in the...
Because I'm pretty sure that was the last thing I smoked last night. was an Aladino Classic. So,
You had good weather last night.
Oh, my God, it was fantastic. Sitting out on the patio. I was, here, we'll do this.
I've started doing this too. Remember you told me the last time I was on?
Get the schmuckus out. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So, yeah, why don't we do this real quick while we start the light? It's time for the Villiger Cigars Entertainment Report, brought to you by
Villiger.
Villiger Cigars, one of the leading cigar and cigarello manufacturers in the world, founded in 1888 and still family-owned and operated. Head over to VilligerCigars.com and check the store locator to find a shop near you that carries them. We guarantee that Villiger Cigars will be a wonderful addition to your humidor and cigar rotation. So I did that so early because I dovetails into a story. So, yes, we had gorgeous weather last night. And so I was sitting out on the patio, and I was watching Secrets of Playboy and just enjoying the night. And it was fantastic. I had a couple cigars, but I ended the night with that Aladino Classic, and it was so good.
So good.
Yes. But, Secrets of Playboy.
What I don't know what that is.
It was an A&E documentary series. There's like 12 parts, and it's all about like behind the scenes like of Playboy, the magazine and the empire and everything like that. And you learn just how deviant and fucked up the whole situation was, which shouldn't surprise anybody, but it kind of does to a degree because they always try to put themselves out as like the girl next door and we're for female empowerment and blah, blah, blah.
Not so much. Is it through the eyes of former
Playboy they
bunnies?
interview a bunch of former bunnies, former office people that like worked for him. They have a guy that like was like Hefner's bodyguard for a number of years and that sort of thing. Wow. I mean, like they have a lot of people in there. And boy, Bill Cosby comes out episode 8 looking like total trash. He should.
I was going to say that also should not be surprising.
He should. And that's the thing. Nothing in episode 8 surprised me about Bill Cosby, but it was still very like hard to watch.
I like how you know like the episode numbers.
Well, I was very conscious of that one because I was looking forward to that one.
Oh.
Because of the Bill Cosby aspect.
Yeah.
But, it was fucked up.
I bet.
It was really fucked up.
So we listened to, we traveled
before I light up, on the cold draw, raisins. You get raisins on the cold draw. Yeah, it's very raisiny sweetness. To the Bandolero.
I'm not going to lie. I've already lit
I know. You lit up. You got going already. That's fine. I understand. That's fine. Anyway, so you did what now?
We traveled this past weekend, and
so did I.
We listened to the podcast series. It's true crime, which we love. You all right over there? Mm-hmm. Nick's got like a fire. It's bigger than the fire pit I had this weekend.
Shit.
Cigar.
I'm in the wind tunnel.
Yeah,
so like the wind is coming at me, and so like it's blowing at me, and I'm pretty sure I just lost some hair on my knuckle. But that's okay.
What I noticed.
Oh, okay.
So we listened to Over My Dead Body. So it's got 4 seasons. We listened to I think 1 and 4, 2 or 3. One of them is the Tiger King, and we didn't. I
think I've listened to the Tiger King one. I think I listened to that back when it first came out.
Yeah. That was fun during COVID, but I don't care at all about any of that now. And people keep texting me updates occasionally about.
I do.
You do.
I send you update when I see an update article or something like that. I will send it to you and just be like, "Hey, check out what Carol Baskin said this time," and whatever.
But they were very good. I mean, they're very interesting stories, and I don't know. Well, one of them I think has a big twist. But they're just really, I don't want to say entertaining because people died, but they're entertaining. It makes the car ride go a lot faster.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
So I also traveled this weekend, and I had a couple of different entertaining
You did a lot.
aspects to my weekend. Different than normal. So I went out to Indianapolis and spent some time with a lady friend. And we, like I said, we did a lot of different things. So Friday, we went and saw a live performance of Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. And that was pleasant.
Yeah.
It was my first time seeing the show.
Okay.
In all fairness, I like musicals. Like, I'm not. Let's put it this way: I'm not against musicals. I'm not like gonna say like, oh my god, I've seen so many and I love musicals. I'm not against going to see one. I'm entertained by them, but it's not something I necessarily seek out.
Yes.
So I hadn't seen Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. I was aware of it, obviously. And I knew the story, but it's not like I was like,
couldn't sing along.
Yeah, like for example, I had no idea that the Pharaoh was like an Elvis character in the musical.
I've seen it. I don't remember much about it.
He's fucking Elvis. Like I had no idea. So like he comes out and he's ho ho ho, and I'm like, what the hell is this? It was great, but I was like, I don't know what this is. And then afterwards, she had a few criticisms, critiques, because she's seen the show so many times, and I was like, well. I didn't
like
really...
it was good enough for you.
It's good enough for me, so bully.
You're like that Elvis Pharaoh. He was pretty cool.
He was pretty cool. But anyway, so I saw a musical this weekend, and then Saturday we went to the movies and we saw a movie called The Royal Hotel.
Okay, is that like current? That's out in the theater.
It's out in the theater now. I'd never heard of it. I knew absolutely nothing about it. Went in completely cold. And I don't know what the point of this movie was. So it's about these two girls who are like partying in Australia and they run out of money. And I guess they're like, we gotta get a job. So they go to like what looks like I guess it was a job placement center or something like that. And they get them gigs as like bartenders at the Royal Hotel.
Okay. So
like at the bar. And it's out in the middle of freaking nowhere in the Australian outback area, and there's like miners or something like that, like guys like they mine,
that are mining,
that are mining, and basically they go out there and that's their whole gig is they're the bartenders at the bar where the miners come. So of course the miners are being degenerates and whatever else and everything. And shit goes down and gets weird, and just like it gets really weird, and so then at the end there's this conflict with this one miner. And the one girl is convinced the one miner's like dangerous, and the other one's like, he's not dangerous, and being stupid. And so like things do get weird. And basically these two girls.
Are you gonna give it away?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead because you know what? It made no fucking sense.
Spoiler alert.
They burned the freaking building down. They like
the hotel.
They burned the whole building down. Yeah.
Huh.
They like light the liquor on fire. And they burn the building down.
Because they're mad at the miners?
And the owner and just the whole situation. And so the movie ends with them walking out into the freaking outback while these miners are watching this building burn down. And this drunk lady that would come to the bar, she goes walking by and she goes, woo, look at it burn, or something like that. And like, that's how it ends. That's how it ends. So it's like, you have no idea what happened to these girls. They keep alluding to like whatever backstory that they're running from, and that's why they're out partying in Australia. You have no idea what their backstory is, and they never ever reveal it throughout this movie.
Huh?
And like,
does the movie? Who stars in it? Is there anybody like? Oh,
nobody I know.
It's not like Charlize Theron or anything.
No,
like that. That sounds like something weird she might do. Huh?
It was. Don't get me wrong. It's not like it wasn't bad. It just wasn't like I left with a lot more questions than I came into it with because I didn't know anything about it.
I hate that.
And I was just like, I probably could have thought of a couple of better ways to spend that hour and a half than that movie.
But you didn't know. So.
But I didn't know, and that's the thing. And you know what?
There was a 50-50 chance you were walking out of there having seen a great movie.
You never knew. And that's fine. It was fine. It was fine. Okay. It was fine. And then, Sunday evening, I took part in a murder mystery dinner where I played the part of Adam.
Oh.
And Adam, well, he was part of a fencing club. And he would apparently strike superhero poses at random because he was very muscular.
Okay.
I don't know how I got that. But anyway, but that was fun. And I was not the murderer, so that's good.
Oh, that's good.
And then, so I was entertained by that. And then, and then, like I said, last night, Secrets of Playboy. And I had to cleanse the mental palate before I went to bed. Because
it was so heavy.
2 episodes of Secrets of Playboy, it's like, I mean, these women were just, they were treated like just trash.
Dog water, as the kids
And
would say.
it was horrible. And so I'm like, I need something to cleanse the mental palate. So what did I do? Went to my old standby.
I should know what this is.
Looney Tunes. I watched 10 cartoons, 10 little shorts of Looney Tunes.
Really?
Oh, Tweety Bird going up against Sylvester, Elmer and Bugs Bunny and their whole back and forth. I mean, I'm telling you, it's a good brain cleanser.
I remember one of the last
cleanser.
time I was on, we were talking about the Mandela effect, and Looney Tunes was one, because how was it spelled, right? Mm-hmm. Something came up on my
LOO. But anyway.
Instagram the other day about the Mandela effect, and what was it? It was about almost like the Richard Simmons, and like he actually didn't wear a headband. It was like that. Oh, it was Britney Spears. And when she wore that red, sleek unitard in one of her videos or VMA performances or something, and every costume, and anytime you think of it, you picture her in the red thing, but then she had like a headset, like the microphone headset, because she was like dancing, she couldn't. Well, then they played supposedly the actual video, and she wasn't actually wearing the headset. She never wore the headset, but like every costume, and when you think about her, she had that black,
Weird.
Almost like drive-through headset.
Kind of like what we're doing, only with like maybe smaller muff and the one side.
So Mandela effect, they're saying she never actually had that.
Weird.
Right.
Weird.
And then I wondered if the Mandela effect video started showing up because of the time I was on and we talked about that. Because they're listening.
Mm-hmm. No, they are. I'm getting ads, sir, for all sorts of different things that I know. Have you ever tried, like when you're around somebody, whispering into their phone stupid stuff so that they start getting ads? No, but that would be really funny to do.
Like cheap flights to Hawaii.
Flights to Hawaii?
I just said that
Hi, cheap flights to Hawaii.
I just said that real close to your phone. So
I know. I mean, I would appreciate cheap flights to Hawaii. But, yeah.
We'll see if you start getting
maybe
ads for it.
I mean, I already get a shit ton of ads from Southwest anyway, just because.
Really?
I mean, that's who I always like. Hi, Papa, you're just all sorts of excited.
Excited to see you.
You're excited. Anyway, hey, now you're getting a little bitey.
Come here.
You're getting a little nippy. You're getting rough. I don't like to play rough. Okay, so that's what I've watched and been entertained by. And you covered yours, all of yours. You got any more that you want to throw into the mix here? Since we did went ahead and jumped this segment way far ahead in the show.
No, although I will say, so my son watches a lot of YouTube, and last night there was one of the videos he was watching was a bunch of YouTubers. Like, I don't know who these people are, but they're apparently popular. FaZe Rug is one of them. I don't know if you've heard of him. I know. Teeny Bopper.
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably like 25. Anyway, so it was a panel of YouTubers, and they were judging 6 people who were, only one of them was an actual YouTuber. And so they were trying to figure out of the 6 who was the actual YouTuber. And my point in all of this is the questions that they asked. I had no idea how involved YouTubing is.
Really?
In terms of the metrics and your watch rate and your capture rate, like how, I guess they're obsessed with how far into a video people, like they'll get 1 minute and 24 in. Like that's your peak, I don't know, watch rate.
I get what
so
you're
as
saying.
the actual YouTubers were trying to find the real YouTuber in this group of 6, just the questions they were asking, I was like, holy cow, I just thought people went out there and like recorded themselves doing silly stuff.
No.
Apparently not.
They know what they're doing. I mean, the ones that are making money, they know what they're doing.
Yeah. Clearly. But
I don't know what I'm doing.
I can't imagine being
not
like
making any money.
that obsessed with all of those metrics.
Mm-hmm.
And like thumbnails, or like one of the questions was, how do you make your thumbnail? I'm like, what? I just didn't even
I use an
understand
app
it.
on my phone.
Yeah, you showed me one time. I want to talk to you about how you did that again.
It's easy peasy.
Okay.
Anyway, so
Did
okay.
I
Yeah, you asked.
Didn't even see it.
I watched it drop. People on YouTube would watch it drop too, but you know, you still don't have the big hat and the sunglasses, so I get it. Anyway, so all right, let's get on
Let's get into your story.
To the topic at hand here. So I have a story about my haircut. Are you griping about an app today?
Was I?
You were gonna gripe about an app.
Oh, yes, a program. Yes.
Okay, so we both have our things.
All right, you griped and I'll gripe.
Okay.
Yours is probably more entertaining. Mine's just frustrating. And
So I went and got a haircut this morning.
Looks nice.
You know, I went. It's a little short. It's just a smidge on the shorter side. I would have preferred maybe just a smidge more like. You know, the sad part was she went over it once and it was too long. And so I told her, I said, we just need to take a little bit off. And she goes, like quarter inch, half inch. I'm like, let's go with the shorter. You know, meaning like take littler off. That was, I think, my mistake. I think I
take littler off. I would have
take the littler off. And
nope.
I think
it translated as.
And I think I said shorter. I said shorter, take the littler. And I think she meant, like, make it shorter.
But also,
like,
based on what you've told me so far, what you texted me, it doesn't sound like you got a word in edgewise. So,
So, look, she was a chatty Cathy. And, you know, I appreciate having conversation with somebody cutting my hair. But within reason. And conversation being the key word. A back and forth, you know. Hey, how's your weekend looking? Oh, it's going good. I'm going to be doing this. Oh, that sounds like fun. I do that with my kid. Blah, 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 blah. You know, back and forth, you know. This was not that.
Did you play therapist today?
This was her just going on and on and on and on. And the worst part was she talked with her fucking hands. And so, like, she'd stop cutting my hair to tell me about what's going on in her life. And I'm like, I do not care. You know, I mean, it was ridiculous. And
so awkward.
I was at Great Clips. I'm not joking. I walked right in. There was nobody waiting. I literally didn't even wait. I walked right in, went straight to a chair, sat down. She got going. I am not joking. I was there for half an hour. Now, for those people listening, you're probably thinking, half an hour?
I wish I could cut my hair in 30.
That's not that bad at all. That's not that bad at all. I'm a guy. I'm not supposed to take half an hour. It's literally a 4 around the back and sides, meaning the number guard on the clipper. I mean, they literally just shave with a clipper the back and the sides. They go around with a littler clipper to like clear up the ears and the neckline, which I'll get to the neckline in a minute, Cindy. And then they scissor cut on top, and they just blend it.
Yeah.
Right? Super easy. In a perfect world, 15 minutes, in, out, bing, bang, boom, I'm paid, I'm in the car. And I'm back home, getting ready to, like, rinse off, because I cannot stand having loose hair on me. So, no, I was there half an hour today, because she had to stop and talk with her hands so much. And then she starts talking about how her ex got her car impounded, to which I'm thinking to myself, why does your ex have your car? But I didn't want to ask because that would have been a rabbit hole. And I
didn't care.
So she tells me, she's talking about the air tags. And now she's got an air tag with her keys because she loses her keys all the time. And she was checking her air tag to see where her keys were. And they were at this impound lot. And blah, blah, blah. And they were there a couple days in a row. So I knew he got my car impounded. So I called up what is now his ex-girlfriend. And I'm like, what happened to blah, blah, blah? And she's just like, well, he got arrested and your car is impounded and blah, blah, blah.
Oh,
and so I guess she was talking to the ex. And he's like, well, you need to give me money to get it out, or you need to, or whatever. And she's like, no, you need to go and pay to get it out, or else you need to give me a new car. And then she's like, I don't even really want the car. The car's a piece of crap. I want all the stuff that's in the car, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, oh my God, I don't care. I don't
so
care.
awkward.
And I said, the one thing I did say, I said, he sounds like a peach. And she goes, oh, he's a mistake at 21. She goes, I liked his oldest son, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, I really hope you mean you got along well with his oldest son and that you weren't just like liking his oldest son. You know? And she's like, but then I stuck around and then we had a couple kids and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, man.
It was fucking
That's
rough.
awkward.
It was rough. It was so rough.
You should have charged her instead.
This was one of the worst Great Clips experiences I've had. There have been some very nice gals at that specific Great Clips location, but I'm tempted to not go back there the next
for sure.
time that I need a haircut.
And do you think
because it's gotten worse.
Do you think she realizes that, like, that is not attractive and welcomed by most of her client? Like, people that just, you know, come in and get
I couldn't tell you. I don't know if
like didn't have that level of awareness.
Look, in all fairness, I'm one of these people that for whatever reason, I'm a listener.
Open up to.
I'm a listener by nature. Like, so people open up to me and they tell me shit, but they tell me shit they shouldn't tell me. And I'm just sitting there like, why are you saying this? But they just keep doing it and they don't stop. And then I'm like, wow, how do I process this? How do I what do you say? What do you say to that? When somebody says, my ex got my car impounded and blah, blah, blah. What do you say to that?
Oh.
So, yeah, that was my Great Clips experience. Then I went home and I got the loose hair off. And then I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, shit, she took it too short. And so now I'm irritated because I don't really like the haircut all that much.
So it wasn't even worth it to...
I mean, let's be real. In a week and a half, I'll be happy. But right now, I'm like, man, this is a little too short. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
But whatever. I'll deal.
Okay, so...
So, yeah.
Well, that sucks. And I don't know what I would say if somebody told me that in depth of a Hoosier story.
And that's the other thing. I'm trying not to judge, but, like, this was some of the most redneck shit I've heard in a while.
Especially if he wanted her to, like, she needed to pay to get it out. I don't think so,
yeah.
Sir.
And then she's talking about how she needs a new phone because she was living somewhere, but now she's living in St. Libory, and she lives right in between 3 different cell towers, and she can't get good signal. And the guy at the store said that she needed to get the new iPhone and not the iPhone 11 because it's got 5G, and then that way it'll like blah, 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 blah. And she's just like, I don't want to spend that much money on a phone. And I'm thinking, oh, girl. You can't get your car out of impound. You really shouldn't be worrying about a friggin' iPhone 15.
iPhone 15 Max.
It's like, holy shit.
Max Pro.
I just paid off my phone. I did that whole program where, it's added to the bill. Man, that just takes forever. It was like 2.5 years. But now the nice part is my bill's gone down like $50 a month because the thing's paid off, so that's good. But now, literally 2 days after I pay it off, and they're like, congratulations, you paid off your phone.
They want you to upgrade?
They keep sending me shit for the iPhone 15.
Yeah, no.
And I'm like, I don't want to get the 15. I'm hearing about all the glitches and problems they're having with the 15. I'm like, I don't want anything to do with the 15. And I certainly don't want to get back into the fact that I owe you $50 a month for a stupid phone. And by the way, how messed up is it that a phone these days is like $1,500 freaking dollars?
Yes.
I mean,
I know.
For not too terribly much more in the grand scheme of life, I could get a brand new laptop.
Yep.
But I'm getting a phone.
Yep.
It's like, forget that. Anyway.
Well, and our kid has a nicer phone than we do. We went in to get him a phone, and if you added a line, you got the free iPhone. I think it's a 12.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, we have an 11. But the new phone had to be on the new line. So I couldn't. I'm like, are you kidding me?
You couldn't take the new phone for yourself and give him the old phone.
I'm
like,
that's some this is his very first phone, and
now
he's
got a better one than I do.
Now he's got a better, like, anyway.
That's some horseshit.
They do that on purpose, though. Like, this
well,
is
yeah, because they want you
rodeo.
and Javier to upgrade.
Yes.
So that then, Baby Bear has to
Yes.
get he can get a new phone, but it's whatever, I mean, it all works out. I don't know. I didn't have a name for the little one, so for
Baby
whatever
Bear.
reason, I went with Baby Bear. I don't know what the hell that was all about.
He would love knowing that.
Scratch that. Rewind. Let's play that one again.
Oh, man.
So.
Although this technology discussion gets us into my rant.
Mm-hmm.
So I have been a loyal, and I think we've talked about this before.
Yeah, you have.
Loyal Evernote user.
Oh, yeah. You've been all about the Evernote.
I think since 2007.
Oh, no. You've tried to get me to do Evernote.
Yes.
And
I'm
and I'll also say this. You know who else is he swears by Evernote is my dad.
Really?
Swears by it. Loves it. Keeps his whole life in an Evernote.
Same. Everything.
Yep.
Everything.
Everything's in an Evernote.
It's my brain. It's my brain.
Dad, you're going to want to listen to this.
Well, I don't want to. I have
No.
Okay.
No.
So
give the unbiased, unfiltered story of the week.
So for part of my job, I've got basically a project that I work on every week.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a template in Evernote that I use because all the projects start the same. And then, I edit each project as I'm going through. Well, last week, I was sitting at the desktop. That's what I love about Evernote. It's like whether I'm on my phone, my iPad, the desktop, the web version, it all syncs immediately. It's all up to date. That's what I love about it.
Okay.
It's immediately available. So I'm sitting at my desk working on this project and I'm typing furiously. So there's all this text. And then I blink and literally the text disappears and it goes back to what the template looked at like 6:30 that morning when I opened it.
Oh, shit.
And I was like, what just happened?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. So I start clicking, thinking like, well, I mean, it saves automatically.
I was going to ask. So it'd say, okay.
I assumed it was saving. So you can go into the note and look at all the versions. So like every time,
Yeah,
like
so
in
like-
Word. So like
So
at
if you open it at
7:40
6:30,
yes, 7:42,
it would show you.
yes.
Yeah.
So it had looked like it saved. Now this is at the first time it happened, because it's happened twice now. The first time it happened, I opened the note at 6:30 in the morning, and I want to say this was like probably 5 o'clock at night. I hadn't worked on it continuously, but throughout the day.
Yeah.
And you go to the note history, and it looks like it. There's 12 different versions throughout the day. So I'm like, okay, so I'll go back to the most recent version. Nope, every single version, even though it looked like it should have been different, was the same note as it was at 6 o'clock that morning.
Mm-hmm.
So it was gone. Everything I had done, all the research, everything was gone. I had never had that happen before.
Retro hail.
Uh-oh.
There's some kick to the retro hail in the Bandolero. Sorry. Anyway.
That's right. So I was frustrated, but it had never happened before.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. I mean, in
Popcorn.
15, 20 years?
Popcorn. So after the spice subsided, I have this like
raisin and
scent,
popcorn.
scent in my nostrils.
Huh.
Popcorn.
That sounds delightful.
It's really interesting. I'm digging it.
I like it.
I could be having a stroke.
No, don't say that.
Isn't that what is it? Is it popcorn?
I don't know. I've never heard
I
that.
thought there was one where you smell something.
I don't know.
Burning toast, maybe.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe you smell something when something's going bad.
I don't know.
Isn't it burning toast? Come on, you're the one that's got a little bit of medical background.
I've never heard. That's why I'm surprised. I've never heard it.
All right. Never mind. Well, hopefully it's
So
not
anyway,
popcorn.
so it happened last week, and
If
I
I
was
start
like,
drooling or something like that,
Stop.
don't let me swallow my tongue, okay? That's all I ask.
Oh.
You might have to be on camera for a minute. I'm sorry. But
I would knock your iPad
oh, there you
over
go.
so fast.
Knock the iPad over so that you don't have to be on camera.
But I'd save your
as
life, so you
pull
would-
a tongue out of my
You
throat.
wouldn't care.
God. Anyway, all right.
man.
So I'm sorry.
That's
Back
all
to your
right.
story. So you lost all your work.
I lost all the work, but it's the first time that it had ever happened. So I was like, okay, whatever. I'm frustrated, but then it happened again. What was it? 2 days ago? It
Yeah.
happened again. Same thing. Open the note real early in the morning, and at 10:46. That's sad that I know exactly when it happened. And the problem was
That's
with
the moment
this
that
week.
your day went to complete hell.
It was because
Yeah.
I texted you and I was like, I'm about to and I'm a pretty patient person. Like I'm type A, but I'm
Because you were
patient.
doing a lot of work in advance.
So that's the thing. And I did 3 projects this week.
Mm-hmm.
And by this week, I mean I had 2 days to do 3 projects.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working on the first project. I was 95% done. And I blinked and the screen flashed and the same thing happened. And I knew it at that point. I was like, no. So it wasn't like real time syncing and saving. And I had even deleted the desktop version, reloaded it after the first time it happened. Still wasn't working. And so this time, after it happened the second time, I was like, well, I still have to work on these projects and I still need my templates in Evernote. So I was like, forget it. I'm not going to work on the desktop version. I'm going to work on the web version. Okay. Right? Because that theoretically is truly real time.
It should be, yeah.
So I opened up the note as it existed 4 hours ago and typed 1 keystroke, like I typed the E, and the whole screen went white, and I got this red arrow at the top that said, like, Evernote cannot save your changes.
Wow.
And I was like, done. I opened up Microsoft Word and just started typing. I was
I saw
frustrated.
that you logged into Instagram and posted a story.
Evernote's dead to me.
Pretty much MFing Evernote right then and there. And I was like, ooh. That's interesting. And you tagged him. That's the best part. I love it when somebody gets angry about that.
I don't know if they can see it because it's a private account. But maybe if they can't, you tag them. But they didn't reach out to me, and they.
I saw you tagged them, and I was just like, oh, that's beautiful.
And I'm not that person. I'm not the person that takes to Twitter and goes off on things. No. But I was so frustrated because Evernote. I
pay for it.
I pay the premium subscription version, not because I have to, but I really like, I'm all in. Mm-hmm. I like the dashboard. I've got everything set up. I've just become really efficient at it. So
I'm going to tag Evernote in this, by the way. So hopefully they listen and find out just how bad they completely fucked you over.
Oh man, it's just so sad because I was such a cult Evernote member, and I've had, it's not. I don't think it's I don't know if they update. I don't know. But here's the other thing.
Uh-oh.
So I was so frustrated, and
so you deleted the app?
I still have 10. If I choose to ultimately not use it, I have to get everything out of it.
Oh,
so now I've got to spend, and my cousin, she's like me in organization, she texted me, she's like, what are you going to do? I go, I don't know, because I literally don't even have time to figure out like what my other options are.
Yeah.
Well, she's been researching it for me. So she texted me this morning, was like, it looks like you can, merge or whatever, transition over to the Notes app in Apple.
Mm.
But I don't know.
I use Notes all the time on my phone. But it's very basic.
Right.
But I use it. Yeah.
So I don't know.
Anyway.
But that's the thing. Even though I have historically loved Evernote, like I loved it because at the time it was revolutionary for saving things.
Yeah.
And now I think there's probably
competitors.
For sure.
You would think.
Right. So I'm like, do I start over like just from scratch and just keep the basic free version of Evernote so I can access stuff when I need it, or do I go through the whole process of moving stuff over?
I'd say if there's an easy conversion method, go with that. But if not,
try that.
Whatever.
I just literally my whole brain is in Evernote. Everything. Recipes.
My dad says the same thing. He's got so much shit in Evernote.
Links to stuff. When if I'm having a conversation, like with my job, if somebody calls me at night and they're like, hey, quick question or whatever, it's usually like something that you have to document, like an employee issue, something that I'm like, I'm going to have to reference this later. I immediately pull up Evernote on my iPad and I type to document the conversation.
Yeah.
Nick called me, relayed this issue, forgot to set the alarm at work, blah, 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 whatever. I document literally everything.
Yeah.
So if I can go back, when I need to go back, I can just pull up.
See, but this brings me to a larger point that I have a problem with, which is that I feel like we've become entirely too dependent, not just on technology, but we've become too dependent on both the combination of technology and cloud storage.
Mm.
And I do not, I sound so old, like I'm tilting at windmills here, but like,
Get off my yard.
I don't like the idea of cloud storage because for two reasons. The first is what happens if it goes down? Well, now I've lost everything.
Yeah.
In your case, it sounds like it was a different glitch, but it's the same end result. You know, you've lost.
Right, I couldn't access
you couldn't access what you needed. So, let's say something were to happen to Evernote, and you were to lose your whole brain. Let's say everything that you've got in there just suddenly gone.
Right.
You're boned. You know, you're boned at that point.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Right.
On the flip side of that, and this is where I come at it more, because I don't necessarily store data and that sort of notes and things like that like you do. I mean, I use the Notes app. I use it for a to-do list. I use it for, I have notes, but like it's like favorite quotes of my, and that sort of thing. It's nothing that's like so vital that if I lost it tomorrow, I'd be, I'd be pissed, but I wouldn't be like
paralyzed.
Yeah. But where I feel like for me, so entertainment-wise, for the longest time, I was the guy that was buying the DVDs. I was buying the Blu-rays. That's really the physical media. They've gotten it to the point now that they've made it to where you almost have to download the movies to the cloud and do it that way, either through streaming or through some sort of download, service and that sort of thing. And yeah, they still, for some things, put out physical media, but there's lots of other things that they don't. And she's fine. And so, anyway, there are licenses attached to that.
Yes.
And so let's say one day, you're in your car and you want to listen to a certain album that you bought on Apple iTunes. Well, maybe Apple iTunes lost the license to that album, and all of a sudden did your download there anymore?
Oh, yeah. I didn't think about that.
That, I know I've heard that in reference to books.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I've ever heard that in reference to music or movies.
Interesting.
But I have heard it in reference to books. That, like, let's say you have a subscription to a certain book reader app or something like that, and you've purchased a book in that. You'll go to that book, and then all of a sudden it'll be like, the license for this is expired, blah, 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 and all that kind of shit. So now it's like you
paid for it.
Spent money.
Yeah,
you spent money. What do you do? And I just call me old school. I like I want to hold it. I want the movie. I want the physical. And the other thing is, when the internet goes down, you're fucked. You don't have anything.
Well, that was the other thing that frustrated me probably the most, other than actually losing the data, was Evernote has always, when you're typing and doing something, if it loses internet,
it saves it and then uploads it later.
It tells you lost internet connection.
She's fine.
We'll, keep typing. We'll upload your work when reconnect or whatever. You always get this little error. Hey, come here,
That's
baby
my cord.
girl. Come here. Stay.
It's my cord. Anyway,
sorry, my dog's being a dog.
It's fine.
I didn't get any of that.
Yeah.
And that's what I was like. So I, shame on me. I assumed it was saving, and it's got to be a version thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because even when you and I were working together the other day on something, remember you kept getting those things popping up? Like you were working on my iPad and the stuff kept popping up.
There were a lot of alerts.
I was like, that didn't used to...
Yeah.
It happened, but not to the frequency. And there was like these new little circles around my profile. I don't know. I'm frustrated. But so my best friend, we send voice memos all day. We've talked about this before too. And so I get in the car after work, I'm leaving, and I send her a voicemail, and I'm like, oh, I'm so frustrated. I feel like an old person, like, get off my yard, because I'm just so fed up with technology. So I record this voice memo. Well, my iPhone has also updated to 17 in the last week or two, and since then, the integration with Apple CarPlay isn't as smooth as it was. So I record this thing, and then at the end, Siri goes... Like I go to send it, and she's like, something went wrong, try again. And I'm like, no! Like as I was sending a voice memo expressing my frustration over technology.
Technology decided to screw you again. It's funny, actually.
And I feel like we're not that old to be at the point where we're like over technology.
No, what it is we expect it to work the way we expected it to work. And when it doesn't work that way, we get frustrated.
Well, and I do think we're the last generation. Like I'm in my early 40s. I feel like we're the last generation that knew life without all of this stuff.
Uh-huh.
So I think I'm reaching like fatigue. like app and technology fatigue. Like I can't keep up with all the socials and all the version changes and the new features. And at least the younger generation, that's all they've known.
Yeah.
So they love it when new versions come out and they've got new features. I don't.
No.
I'm like, what used to take me 3 things now takes me 5 clicks.
Well, and I'm sorry, but Apple, I'll just say this. Look, I love my iPhone. I love my iPad. I like Apple products. I have a MacBook that I do my layout on and everything like that.
Recording on your iPad.
I like Apple products. They generally are fairly user intuitive and easy to use.
Mm-hmm.
But what I will say about their updates, their iOS and system updates and whatnot, they will fix things. They will find things that were clunky, and they will smooth them out and they will fix things. But inevitably, when they do that, they break something else that was already working perfectly. And it's like, why the fuck did you touch that? Why did you mess with that?
Yes.
You just ruined that.
Yes.
You made this better, but you ruined that. And it's like, if you would just leave that alone and fix this, I would be happy. But no, you always have to fuck something up in the process. And I don't know why they do that. Now, maybe Android's the same way. I don't know. I'm not going to do it because, quite frankly, I find Android phones to be really clunky. But yes, they just continually find ways to fuck shit up.
Yes.
And I just don't get it.
Yep. And I'm at the age where, 10 years ago, I used to look forward to all this stuff. And now I'm like, nope, I don't want to do the update. I just want to keep it the way it is until I'm no longer on this earth.
I don't need a damn new phone every year.
I know.
You know.
Do you know what's incredible, though? Like every new iPhone that comes out, and the Android users, or the Samsung at least, are going to, because the camera's so good on those phones. But every iPhone that comes out, I'm like, God, like I have an 11. I'm like, God, that camera on the 11 at the time was amazing. And I'm like, every iPhone after this,
it's better.
I'm thinking it'll be marginal. You know what I mean? Like the camera they can only get marginally better. It's not going to be worth the upgrade.
I know.
And then the next thing you know, there's like 5 fisheye lenses, and
but here's the problem.
Super good.
They do that. They give you all that. I don't know how to use any of it.
I know.
Right? I know some, but I don't know. There's probably so much that I could do with the camera on my phone right now, and it's not the 15, but there's so much I could do with the camera on my phone right now that I don't know how to do. I mean, there's people that film whole freaking movies with their iPhones. I could film a video. It's not going to look like a feature film, and everything like that. Now, granted, they may edit it in whatever program later and shit, but I don't get it. It's
the thing that really solidified it for me was when Taylor Swift went on her tour, and people were posting photos. They were like up in the nosebleed sections of huge NFL stadiums, and the picture's perfect. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I can't photograph someone 15 feet away without their eyes being pixelated.
I don't know how they did it.
I don't either.
The last concert I went to was in mid-July. I think it was mid-July. And I wasn't far. I wasn't close, but I wasn't far. I was in the seats. I wasn't on the lawn, So, I was close. I'm zooming in. My pictures don't look nearly as good as people that were up in the nosebleeds of the friggin' Arrowhead in Kansas City.
And they're like, dark.
And they're looking like it's like right there.
Yes.
I'm like, what did you do?
It's amazing.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't get it. Damn it, kids, get off my lawn.
Same.
It's so bizarre. So I forgot in my whole rant about the haircut and everything, I mentioned it. So Cindy, last time I was in Riverman, told me that the next time I get a haircut, I need to make sure that they round the back of like my neckline, because I had it squared off.
Okay.
And now in the past they've asked me, do you want it squared off or do you want it rounded? My typical standard answer was, I don't see it, I don't care.
Right. Just make it look nice.
Sandy pointed out to me that when it was squared off, I looked like SpongeBob SquarePants. So she started calling me SpongeBob SquareHead. And as a result of that, I made sure that,
Chatty Cathy.
Chatty Crystal. I'm not even going to call her Kathy. Crystal seems a little bit more appropriate. It's that whole Crystal down at the trailer park. I don't know. I'm being rude. I'm being mean. Anyway, Chatty Crystal there. I made sure that she rounded it off because I didn't want Cindy to be able to call me SpongeBob SquareHead anymore.
I like that Cindy has that power over you. She makes one comment in exchange in his haircut.
No, you don't understand. Cindy has the ability to find something and just tweak you with it, and it's like But see, that's how I know that Cindy loves me.
There you go.
Because she picks on me.
She loves you enough to make you want to be a little bit better.
If she's nice to you, she doesn't like you. If she's mean to you, or she kind of tweaks you a little, that's how you know that Cindy likes you.
So when you were first talking about your haircut story and you called the gal Chatty Cathy, it hit me. Is there a negative male version of that? Like, we've got Debbie Downer, we've got Chatty Cathy's, we've got Karen's. Is there a male version where you're like trying to, I don't know, right?
Boy, that's a good question now that you think about it.
It's always female.
Yeah. I don't know. You know what name?
Even this whole Ken Enough from the Barbie movie is a positive thing. Like, I
don't even know what that is.
It's like the K-E-N, like in the Barbie font, but it's enough after it. And so it's like, I'm enough except Ken. I'm Ken Enough. Like, even that's a positive. Are you Ken Enough? Oh, you're Ken Enough. But if you're trying to offend somebody, they're Chatty Cathy.
I'll admit, that's a movie that, like, I didn't go see in the theater. I have contemplated seeing it on streaming just because there was just enough. I'm curious as to what it is. Because, like, I've been told it's not for adult or for kids. Like, it's got
I've heard that,
themes and whatnot that's more appropriate for adults.
Even that I've heard people that took their young, like, 13-year-olds to it, and they thought it was fine.
But I'm not saying it's not for kids, but it's like, it's not like for it's not what you'd expect from a Barbie movie, and so I'm curious about it. But at the same time, I'm like, do I really want to invest that kind of money into or time into it?
Well, and I've heard such conflicting perspectives on, like, if it was like a feminist movie or if there was like if it was super degrading to men. I don't know. I also did not see it, and I don't probably won't see it, but yeah.
There was a point I was gonna get to, and for the life of me, I can't remember now. No, you were bringing up male names. So I don't necessarily know if there's male names that have a negative connotation like that, but I can tell you there's male names where I have met people of a certain name.
Like Chad.
Bingo! Yes! Have you ever met a Chad that's not a douchebag? And I'm sorry to any listeners out there who are named Chad. You may be a douchebag. But every Chad... Every Chad I've ever met is a total piece of trash.
No, I do know a Chad who is not. But I know
what
you're saying. I'm 100%.
Or are you just giving him a little, like, credit?
Too much. No, I'm telling you, he's the nicest person.
Well, it's just an exception to every rule then. But
I could see that. But see, the fact that you said, there's some.
You went straight to the one that I was thinking
of. Yeah.
You know who else? You know what? There's going to be some that listen, maybe. I don't know. Whatever. Hopefully. Guys, take this with a grain of salt, okay? We're being very generalized here. There's obviously nice Karens as well as there's Karens. But, like, Zach's. I feel like Chad and Zach, they hang out together, and their dads both own dealerships.
They're bros.
They go down to the club, and they pick up some strange, and, like, hey, my dad owns a dealership. You want to go take a ride in my Bentley? And all that shit. And it's like, I hang out in L.A.
Do you think
you gotta say it like that, L.A.
Do you think the Zach one comes from Saved by the Bell?
Oh, maybe. Zach Morris is a douchebag.
Might have been like the OG
There was
Zach.
like that. There's that YouTube series. It's like Zach Morris is an asshole, or Zach Morris is a... Yeah, they've like got this entire YouTube thing where they go through old episodes of Saved by the Bell
play, like, clips
and point out how much of a piece of trash Zach Morris is.
That could be a whole nother conversation, because Friends, the series, is kind of going through that now.
It's cringy as fuck.
Yeah. And I don't know, like,
there's a lot of fat shaming and various other things.
Because it was not that at the time, like, do you cancel it now because back then? I don't know. I feel like...
It's super white. That's the other thing about Friends.
That's true.
Look at Friends. Look at that show. Super white.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, whatever. I'm not one necessarily to say, like, let's put a minority in just for the sake of putting in a minority, you know? But at the same time, like, they're living in fucking New York. There's not a single black person that pops into Central Perk.
Come
on.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean.
Good point.
I mean, maybe Gunther has a, sign on the door, like, no blacks allowed, but I don't know.
Was that the guy's name?
I think so. I don't
remember.
I am pulling from the deepest, darkest recesses of my mind right now. Like, I don't know. I mean, I watched that Friends reunion on HBO a couple years ago. And
that's more than I did.
And that's like...
I've never seen that.
I was dating somebody at the time who cared. So I had to watch it. It's not that I really cared. Not that I gave two shits whatsoever about it. Yeah, so anyway.
Wow.
But,
that could be part of the Villiger Entertainment Report.
Yeah.
We're still going on.
We're all over the damn place here. It's like, we're talking about that. We're talking about how Evernote sucks, how my haircut lady was crazy. I mean, it's all over the place.
Back to the Evernote. I'm further removed now from the incidents. So I obviously haven't cut it off because I haven't.
You didn't immediately know what I was talking about when I first brought it up to you either.
Yeah,
so that tells me right there.
And if you had asked me 2 days ago,
out.
man, I would.
Oh, we would have had a whole different episode if we would have done this 2 days ago. We might have been hearing Pinky start dropping some F-bombs.
Which, I don't care that people cuss, but I feel like a kindergartner when I try to cuss. I feel like, oh, you piece of shit.
You got to own it. You got to have the power behind it. It's like, if you're going to, you got to, it's like, fuck you. You got to emphasize.
If I do that,
anyway.
Get out of the way. Because I will say it with conviction and
I
will burn the ships.
That's what I always say whenever I say, if you see me running. You also
better.
Something really bad is going down. So, like, you need to run. Like, don't ask any questions. Just figure out what direction I'm going and go. Because, like, something really, really bad.
Terrible
like, if I'm fast walking, I've probably done something and I'm trying to escape. But if I'm running, something is going to explode.
Gotcha.
Or there's something bad going down.
Noted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Super bad. Super bad. Oh, my gosh. So, neighborhood drama.
Oh.
Neighborhood drama. My neighbor lady. I think I've talked about her on the show before. The older lady. I think I may have talked about her on the show before. I'm in a duplex. I have an older lady living next door. Last night, I get home, and her car's not there, which is not unusual. She's mobile. She's in her mid-80s. She's mobile. She gets out and about. But there's this black car with Colorado plates that's parked in her thing. And I'm thinking,
okay,
whatever.
Kids visiting.
I don't know who it is. But, like, I get out of my car, I come around, and next thing I know, I notice there's this guy sitting in a chair underneath her carport, and he's just puffing away on something.
Oh.
Colorado plates. So I have an assumption as to what he's puffing away on. And so I just kind of look at it for a minute. I give one of these. He gives one of these. A little quick wave. And I go inside. And I'm like, that's weird. So I go out to my patio, and I'm watching my shit and everything like that. Well, I have to prep the garbage because today's garbage day. So I take the garbage can down the curb. And mind you, this is late now. This is like 11 something at night, and I go down to the curb. His car is now parked on the street, but her car is not there. And I'm like, well, this is
that's
weird.
unusual.
This is unusual for her to be gone at night like that. So this morning, I get up, go to my haircut. He's out there at 9-something in the morning, sitting out on the carport, puffing away on something. So I give a wave. He gives a wave. And I'm like, okay, well, whatever. So I go and get my haircut. I come back. When I come back, her car's there. His car's on the street. There's this red SUV. And there's like all these people outside, including her. And I'm like, well, okay, she's alive. And so, like, I'm, like, walking inside, and the one guy goes, like, oh, if you see us walking around your place, we're looking for her cat. And I'm like, okay. So now I'm thinking, note to self, shut the curtains in my window or bedroom because I'm about to be walking around all naked, getting from bedroom to the bathroom to shower off and everything like that. But it's very bizarre. A lot of activity going on at her place. There's very, very little activity at any given time. A lot of activity going on at her place. I don't know what's going on. But the guy sitting out in the carport and smoking something, I mean, let's be real. I do it all the damn time. But, so maybe the first few times people saw me, they're like, what's up with that guy? But at this point, it's been over 2 years. I would think that they're getting used to it by now. I mean, shit, we're getting ready for me to put the red tint out again. So, I mean, at some point, they're going to be like, oh, the red thing's back.
But that seems like a lot of activity for a lost cat.
Mm-hmm.
Does she have dementia, do you know?
Mm-mm.
No? Huh.
Mm-mm. No, she's very on top of it. I'll give her that.
Wow.
So I don't know what's going on. I will say it was probably about a year ago that she and I talked, and she told me that she put her name in on a list at a assisted living home, and that it was about a 1.5 year long wait for her to get in. So it's not impossible to think that maybe they're starting to prep, take some stuff out, things of that nature, prepping her for the eventual move.
How old did the gentleman look that was out puffing? Like he could be her. Does she have? She's got kids.
Yeah, he's probably in his mid-50s, which would probably be about right if she would have had him in like her 30s, early 30s,
So this makes me wonder, the fact that you knew the first car, the license plate, then the red SUV. Are you someone that always notices when something's a little off so that, like, if a crime happened or if something odd happened and the police came knocking and they were like, sir, can you tell us about what's going on?
I try to be observant to what's at least around with my next door neighbors.
Okay.
Now, granted, I say that to say this. I knew that the dog that lived next door to me on the other side was named Sam. I had no fucking idea what Sam's owner's name was until earlier this year. I've known Sam since I moved into that place in spring of 2021. Jason, his owner, I only learned his name maybe like 3 months ago. It was always, that's Sam's guy.
Yeah.
And the worst part is Jason told me his name back when he introduced Sam to me. But I registered Sam. I didn't register Jason, and I had no friggin' idea. He knew my name. We would talk outside every once in a while. I'm one of those guys. I'm just not neighbor. Like I keep to myself. I don't need to know all the ins and outs of the neighborhood. I don't need to know all the ins and outs of what's going on with the people around me.
Yep.
It's like, I have my neighbor lady's phone number. We can text back and forth for no other reason than like if she falls, she can text me, or like one day she texted me and said, hey, you're not home, but Ameren came by. They're going to be doing tree trimming in the back, so they're driving their truck through our backyard and blah, blah, blah tomorrow.
That's a perfect neighbor relationship.
It works out great. Yes. And like, when I've been gone and I'm expecting a package, I'll text her and be like, hey, I've got a package showing up tomorrow, but I'm gone until like blah, blah, blah. Can you just grab the box and put it under my carport, hide it somewhere? She'll do that. No big deal whatsoever. It's super easy. But we don't get. That's perfect. I don't get into the lives of my neighbors because I don't care.
Right. And the more, I mean, we're fortunate. I feel like we have really good neighbors. Now we live in a neighborhood that has a lot of military, so I mean the turnover is a lot. But we've been really like right now. If I could just like freeze time and just have, if these people could stay, this would be wonderful.
Yeah. They still have to get that fence back in there.
Well, that's the thing. They've all
there it is, back in there, kind of fixed.
It's still COVID delays.
I know. It's you had a big storm. I remember. Yeah, I know. I'm just giving him shit.
But Javier is the same. Like he works in a profession where he talks to a lot of people, and he's an introvert. So when he comes home at the end of the day, like he'll be friendly and smile, kind of like you and the the guy.
I'll give a quick wave.
Perfect. But if you get to talking to people and you get to that next level and it turns out that, they've got some family issues or drama or you learn stuff at your,
Oh, because I've had people in the duplexes across the street. There was a couple over there. The domestic arguments that I heard over there.
No.
Because, I mean, I'm a night owl.
Yeah.
So, like, I'd be out under my carport at, like, 2 in the morning. I'm thinking about getting ready to go inside. But I'm hearing some hella fights going on over there. Cops are showing up periodically. So I'm watching that, There were this and that and whatever. And so you got to track that stuff to some degree because, God forbid, let's say something went down over there.
they're coming to you saying,
if they're like, whatever, I can be like, yeah, you know what? I hang out on my carport late at night. I've been hearing them fighting for weeks.
Yep.
Blah, 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 that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I do find myself, I wouldn't say I'm super observant, but if I hear like a loud boom shot, so we live like back there is all unincorporated, so we hear people can hunt and stuff back.
Oh, I've got the same problem out of my backyard.
Yeah.
The people that have the pond directly out back of me, they go shooting all the time. I'll be in my shower, and it'll sound like someone's got a hammer, and they're banging on the wall of my bathroom from the outside.
Like sometimes it physically shakes.
But it's not that. It's they're out there with a high-powered rifle shooting at some target or something like that.
That's really the only thing I can point to where if I hear something, occasionally if I see something that I think is low, I always look at the clock.
Mm-hmm.
So I know about what time, I heard a noise and it was about 1:32, something like that. But I would be a terrible eyewitness.
I try and track kids, not in the creepy way, but like.
What do you mean?
Meaning like, okay, that house has a little girl that lives there about Max, my son's age.
Yeah.
That house has got a little boy and a little girl that live there. They're, whatever. They're out playing at certain times, things like that. So that I know if I'm leaving, I should be watching
for kids,
that I don't run over a kid in the process. But then B, hey, God forbid, it's like.
Right. Did you see something?
I try to make sure that, like, we're kind of tracking the kids to make sure that the kids are okay, and that kind of thing. There was a lady that lived across the street from me. She's moved out. She had 2 little kids. They were super friendly. Yeah. And, whatever. I have no idea. I can't say as I've ever said 2 words to that woman, but her kids, my mailbox is in front of their house. My mailbox is across the street from my place, which is really weird. So I have to cross the street and then go in front of her place to get my mail. That's so odd. Her kids are playing in their yard, and I walk up to their yard to get my mail. So, of course, they're going to say hi, and I'm not going to be a shithead to kids. But it's just weird,
Yeah.
But, you got to track that a little bit.
So hearing you
talk. So, yeah, I guess I am I pay enough attention that if something were to like go down, I'd be like, okay,
you could
whatever.
give a general idea.
But like, if the cops are like, do you know blah blah blah? I'd be like, I have no fucking idea what you're talking about. It's like I know that lady.
Yeah.
I don't know what her name is. Yeah. I don't know her story. Yeah. It's like whatever.
This conversation reminds me. So we were gone this weekend and we went hiking, and we accidentally hiked 5 miles longer.
How the hell do you do that?
So I will tell you. I'm glad you asked.
By the way, real quick, before we get into that, you are done with your cigar.
Yes. Oh, it was good.
I was going to say, what thoughts on your Aladino Classic there?
Yeah.
I
like a good solid cigar. Like sometimes when I smoke, it's like kind of falling apart. It feels like almost too light and not like tight.
Packed up enough.
Yes. Yeah. This was a very well built
well packed.
Yes.
Good construction.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm digging this Bandolero. The burn line, despite being in this wind tunnel, I've only had to touch up my burn line one time. Right now, it's super nice and straight. I do have a little bit of a cracked wrapper going like right there at the end, but I think that's from me like gripping it with my teeth as I'm because whatever. It's smoking like a champ. The little bit of spice on the actual smoking experience is ramped up.
Any more popcorn flavor?
No. Let me do a retrohale.
Okay.
Haven't done a retrohale since the popcorn flavor, so I don't know. But a little bit of spice is picked up. I'd say it's a nice medium-bodied smoke, though. It's not super heavy, but it's definitely not a light cigar. Okay, let me do this. I don't heard retrohale.
Don't you go dying on me. Damn you.
I tried. Here's the problem. Sometimes when I think about retrohaling, oh man,
it's worse. Oh, you're watering and everything.
When I think about it, it like becomes more difficult to do.
Yeah.
Oh. No more popcorn.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
All of that and no sweet buttery taste.
So I'm not stroking out just yet. Actually, I shouldn't joke because I'm going to be a super nerd for a moment. But this one comic book artist that I really, really enjoyed his stuff, he had a stroke on October 8th and passed away on the 9th. And it was just announced yesterday that he died. And I met him once at a Comic-Con.
I remember that.
And he was such a nice guy. And I'm
sorry.
so pissed because he was so funny. And you know what's funny? Let me see if I can find this real quick. His family had instructions from him that if he were to pass away, to post something to his
like he told him what to post?
Yeah, he had a post already.
Oh, wow.
For them as to what to post when he died. And he wrote, this is the post. He said, I told them I was sick. Anything not to go to New York Comic-Con. Thanks. Keith Giffen, 1952 to 2023. Bwahahaha. So even in death, he leaves us with a joke. You know? And it's like,
that's a bummer.
I love it. But at the same time, it's a bummer.
That is a bummer.
Anyway, sorry. That's
okay.
It's my stroke thing. But anyway.
So we accidentally hiked.
So you hiked 5 extra miles.
Extra miles. Not 5 total, 5 extra. So I normally do the planning for when we go out hiking and stuff. But this time, my husband did that. He was like, I'll figure out the trailhead.
Damn it, Javier.
I know. but I didn't say anything because I don't want to discourage it. Like, I was thankful that he was like, you know what, I'm going to figure out this and we're going to go. So we get there and we're starting on the hike, and we had our son and then our dog. And we're hiking, and it's beautiful. The weather's beautiful. The trail was absolutely gorgeous. It was not busy at all. It was wonderful. And we're hiking. And I said, so is this a loop? Like, are we going to go in a circle, or is this an up and back? And he's like, I have no idea. And I was like, oh, okay. So
he didn't track it out.
Well, he found it, but he didn't, like, study it. And so, but he fortunately had started on one of our activity apps a hike. And so it was like tracking us. So we knew, like, okay, we've gone this way or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, this was a huge trail. This wasn't like a little thing in the woods. It's like at a national or a state park, I mean.
Yeah.
So we're walking, and we get to another trailhead, which was about 1.7 miles in.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, so this must be an up and back. So we should turn around and go back the way we came. Like this, we're done. We've done this.
Yeah, because at that point you would have gone 3.4.
Right. Yeah, and that's what he said. The whole trail was 3.4.
Yeah.
So we get to the end, but then, so you get to this little trailhead where there's usually a gravel lot where cars park. We had seen some horses had come up and they were on the trail. So, but there's a road, like a paved road now, and there's a trail marker, which is, the little blue thing on a tree across the street. And he goes, oh, I think we should keep going. That's a trail marker to tell us, like, the trail goes this way.
Okay.
And I was like, okay. I mean, that's true, but I feel like we're halfway through. Like, we should just turn around and go back. I mean, at this point, it's like, I don't know, we've been out there 30, 40 minutes. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
No. It's probably just a paved road, and then it's going to pick up and come around. I don't know. I didn't have anything on my phone, so I hadn't visualized the trail. So I'm like, okay, so we're following him. About a mile later, 2 miles later, I'm like, honey, I don't, we're still on we're literally walking on a street, but in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't think this is what we're supposed to be going.
Yeah.
And he pulls up the map and he's looking. He goes, I don't know. I think but we had seen 1 or 2 other trail markers on trees or posts or something as we're walking. I'm like, okay. Well, then he pulls up a map and he's like, well, actually up here, there's a road. And if we cut over, we should be able to pick back up on the trail like that we already came on. I'm like, okay. So we turn down this road and we walk another like half a mile to a mile.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm hoping at the end of this road.
Hoping.
Yeah. He said, I'm hoping at the end of this road, it's just a field. So we can walk across the field and get back on the trail. I'm like, okay. Well, we get to the end of this road, and the whole road, there are no trespassing signs. It's private property. Violators will be prosecuted. And I'm like, oh man, I really hope that's an open field. So nope, it's a gated thing with signs posted everywhere, barbed wire fences.
Oh, Jesus.
And at this point, so we're like 4 miles in.
Yeah.
Going one way. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I go, honey, let's just turn around and go back. He's like, no, that's too far. I'm going to go through the barbed wire fence you guys stay here.
It seems very bold for Javier.
Yes, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
But we were so tired. Our legs hurt. Our feet hurt. Our kid and our dog was perfect. They were like living it up.
Yeah, they're young.
They're young. But like he and I were hurting. We were so tired.
It's when
He's
you're like,
no, I'm
you
just
send the dog, you're like, go get help.
Timmy fell in a well.
Timmy fell in a well. Go get help.
So he legit wanted to climb through this barbed wire fence and go across. And I'm like, and this whole time we've seen horses on the trail, but then we also saw horses and cows and turkeys and like wild animals.
Yeah.
This whole time. And I'm like, honey, that's somebody's field. A horse or a bull could come after you. He's like, no, I'll be fine.
Or a dude with a shotgun.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
I said, we had heard shotguns while we were on the trail.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, no, I know it's tempting, but we need to just do the safe thing. Like conservative Pinky came out, like we need to just do it. And even our kid was like, Dad, you can't. He started. So I think that's what got Javier to be like, okay, I'm not going to change this.
Yeah.
But the whole time we're walking back, he's still eyeing things like, I bet I could just cut across. So we just turned around, retraced our whole trail, finally got back on the trail, went back. What should have been a little over 3 miles, we hiked like over 8. And
wow.
4 hours later.
Well, you got your exercise in for the day.
We absolutely. Now, fortunately, the place
So did you eat a whole chocolate cake that night? Because I would have.
I had a bottle of wine.
Oh, well, that's comparable, I guess.
But thankfully, the cabin we were staying at had a hot tub.
We'll see there.
And here's
the
thing. He's not a hot tub guy, so he didn't bring trunks or anything. And when we were walking back, he's like, I'm getting in. He had like sport shorts. He's like, okay. I'm getting in the hot tub with that.
I was going to say, I'm like, wait a minute.
Oh, no.
You got your son there. It's
no,
like,
no.
I mean,
so,
he's old enough to know.
Oh, for sure.
Probably shouldn't be doing that.
So that was the one time we accidentally hiked 5 more miles than we had planned. But thankfully, I'm trying to look at the positive. I'm like, Javier, it's a beautiful day. We're safe.
I mean, that sounds like my personal hell, but that's just me.
It was physically not a great day. Okay. It was very. So there's it.
Okay. Well.
What else we need to get into?
Why don't we do this?
Guess what, motherfucker?
It's time for 3 cigars we smoked and enjoyed this week. And are you ready, or should I go first?
You go ahead.
Okay, so my first one, so while I was in Indianapolis, Saturday evening, my lady friend and I, we went and visited the Rocky Patel Burn in downtown Indianapolis. And it was nice. It was Pinky's out. It was
a little uppity. It was beautiful.
A little bougie. I mean, it was very nice. It was what I expected in terms of like an upscale cigar lounge bar kind of thing. Was not inexpensive. Yes, was
you
not.
Definitely paid for the experience.
Was not inexpensive. I did pay for the experience. But my lady friend, she had a Fat Bottom Betty.
Heck yeah.
They only had the Gordo size though, the 6x60s. So she's got this like giant freaking thing, and like she doesn't. I mean, like, this is the second time she smoked a cigar with me.
She really went for it then.
And like, this may have been the 3rd or 4th cigar in her life. And she just went straight in for the giant thing. And I'm like, you know what? I respect the hell out of that.
Now, did you recommend that to her? Were you like, hey, Pinky really likes
she talked to the guy in the the humidor and asked him where the sweet ones were, and he directed. And she saw it, and she liked the sugar skull on the band. And but then I told her, I said, I really like those, blah, blah, blah. Because I do. I like them. Yeah. I don't smoke them on the regular. Maybe once every 6 months I might fire one up. And I'm like, oh, this is different. But yeah, I like them. So she had that. And to her credit, she smoked the hell out of that thing. Like, there wasn't much left. So, it worked out well. But I had, my first one for the week was the Rocky Patel 60. And it was the one that he put out for his 60th birthday. It has nice cocoa notes to it and everything. It's just a fantastically good smoke.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
All right.
So that's my first
one. Do I do
one.
mine?
Yes, you can go now. If you're ready.
I have a picture. See, that's the thing. I don't know the detail. I smoked a Tuscan.
Tatiscan.
Same.
That's a Tatiscan.
Am I fired yet?
No, it's okay.
Am I
That's a
fired
Tatis
yet?
can, so I can tell you that is the affordable budget option from Aladino.
I cannot tell. Is it really?
It is.
Oh, I could not tell
That's
you
the Habano. That's the red band one.
where I got this. It's like that other one I brought out earlier today.
I don't know where you got that.
I have no idea where I got these.
Yeah, but that's a nice one.
Yeah. So that was the first one. Nope, that was not the first one I smoked at the cabin. The first one I smoked at the cabin was.
Okay, so number 2.
Okay, I'll just go. Tatiana Groovy Blue. I know
Okay.
those are.
Groovy Blue. What
It's got-
flavor is Groovy Blue?
I don't know. It's not cinnamon. It's not
I wouldn't expect
like a
cinnamon
cocoa
on a
one.
Groovy Blue.
Groovy Blue. I don't. I'm not real in tune with the
Not
flavor
blueberry.
notes. No.
Okay.
I did though smoke that with a blueberry wine. Since
Oh,
you
well, there you
mentioned
go.
that.
So
Yeah.
blue and blue. You got that
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah. And so fun fact,
Fun fact.
the Stanley cups.
Oh dear God, yes.
I know. You commented the other day.
I've got my Yeti cup here, but yeah, exactly. Okay.
They fit a whole bottle of wine. Wine
Well,
in those.
that's convenient.
with room to spare.
That explains why all these women online are all about these Stanley cups now. They can pour an entire bottle of wine in one of those things. What is that, like 40 ounces?
I think so.
Yeah.
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 And there are like TikToks going around of sporting moms that have their Stanley cups, and then they take a tea bag and they hang like the paper over it, almost like they're drinking, but
Like tea?
they cut the tea bag itself off and they pour wine in there.
I mean, all right.
I've not done that,
Okay.
but I'm just saying.
I gotta ask a question here. No, I mean, I'm gonna say no judgment to these people, but at the same time, my question is very judgy. How much of an alcoholic do you have to be to pour an entire bottle of wine in a thing, dangle a tea bag like
hide it.
thing off just to hide the fact that you're sitting there
Here's
just
the
like
thing. I can tell you,
drinking your alky juice?
it's
you know?
probably true that there are people that are alcoholics that do that. But in my experience with the mom, sports families can be Looney Tunes. Like
Yeah.
they're crazy.
Yeah.
So depending on which team my son is playing for,
I think you're crazy sometimes with it. All the travel and
well,
everything
no,
like
but
that.
I
it's
mean,
like, my God,
they're.
you know?
But when we get to our games,
Yeah.
Javier and I, we're chill.
Okay.
We are. Let the kids play. They're out here to have fun. There are sports parents that are up in the kids' business, yelling and screaming.
Oh, yeah. Those are the ones that are putting their kids in select ball thinking they're going to become Major League Baseball players.
Right.
Yeah.
So imagine hanging out with those people for 3 days straight at a travel tournament in Indianapolis.
I'd be drinking,
So,
too.
right.
Yeah.
It's not like,
fair.
I'm not telling you, I'm not saying that these people get like trashed by noon,
Yeah.
but I'm telling you that putting a bottle of wine in there is probably therapy they need to make it through a 3-day weekend with,
They're not hitting that dispensary in Effingham on the way.
they might be, I
I've
don't
seen
know.
the billboards. It's like Abraham Lincoln. He's all getting high or something like that on
Really?
the billboard. Oh, yeah. There's a billboard right outside Effingham,
I
and
have
it's
not
like got
seen
Abraham
that.
Lincoln. It's all in tones of green, and it's like, yeah, it's Abraham Lincoln, and he's having,
So that's
he's
interesting
feeling
because
good.
in the state, you're the advertising for cannabis stuff, you can't have the leaf on it.
No, but they have Abe Lincoln, and it's all in
Smoking
green,
a
so they
joint?
know exactly what he's not smoking a joint, but he's got that look on his face. Like, oh yeah,
That's funny.
I had me some cannabis.
You know, there's probably some sports parents that do that. My point in all of this is
Pop an
just
edible, drink some wine, and
they
chill
are
out and
finding
watch
a
your kids
way
play
to get
baseball.
through what should be a fun weekend. But, there's always that one or two families that are level 10 the entire weekend.
That's
and that
true.
can be a lot.
Okay.
That can be a lot. So we will, like I said, depending on which team, because my son will like courtesy play for other teams. Depending on which teams, we might be the parents sitting way over here, like not like we'll wave and give the little flick, hey, how's it going? Big smiles and stuff. But I'm not in sports to make friends, so it's kind of like the neighbor thing. The more
Yeah.
you talk to people, you find out they might be a little.
Yeah,
I
no.
don't need the drama. So, and from one
These
of our last teams, there was.
Sports parents at the hotel doing little key parties and whatever, and that sort of thing. The kids are in bed and they're down at the bar, just like, all right, pass the hat, put your keys in, that kind of thing. Is that what's going on?
I don't know.
I'm not saying
I
you and
don't know.
Javier are participating.
No.
I'm just
No,
saying,
no.
I just, you gotta wonder.
No.
You gotta wonder. It's
No.
like, well, the catcher's mom ended up with the pitcher's dad last night. Anyway, so my second one is the other one that I smoked at the Rocky Patel burn, and it was the Plasencia Almafuerte. And I had a really great experience with that cigar on when I recorded Tuesday's show with Ken. I smoked it was like a Bellicoso size. And so I was like,
A what size?
Bellicoso.
Which is what? I'm not familiar with that term.
It's kind of like any sort of odd shape.
Oh, okay.
Kind of thing. But typically, this one was kind of like almost like kind of diamond shaped.
Interesting.
And then it was like kind of like, and then like came to a point here. And so you would clip the longer end, and then at the bottom, the fatter end, that's where you lit the nipple. And
would that be obvious to someone who doesn't smoke very often?
Yes, because the band is up near the top.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
But it was good, but I smoked that with Ken. I really enjoyed it. So when I saw that in the humidor at the Rocky Patel burn, I was like, oh, you know what? That was really good. I want to have another one of those. And so I grabbed that, and so I had that after the 60.
Was it just as good as the first time?
No.
Really?
It was. I enjoyed the one that I smoked with Ken better than the one that I smoked at Burn.
Do you think it's because at Burn you'd already smoked the other one? I think
it was because I wanted the Toro size, the whatever. And they had the Bellicoso, but I already smoked that size, and I didn't want to, and it was a little more expensive. So I ended up getting the, they have one that's, it's shaped like it's hexagon, so it's 6-sided, but it's big. It was also a 6x60 because of that. So she had the 6x60 Fat Bottom Betty. Then I go to the big 6x60 Plasencia, and it was just a little on the larger side for my smoking enjoyment.
If I had been
time.
At Burn and walked by you both smoking those cigars, I would have been like, that's a power couple right there.
We were captains of industry right there. I mean, we had our
I'm like, they know what they're
giant
doing.
fat stogies and just having a good old time. Yeah, so. But even though it was not as good as the Bellicoso that I'd had earlier in the week, it was still a phenomenal cigar, and I still really enjoyed it.
Okay, that's good. So my third one, I'm totally blanking on the name. So it's one of the three in they call them the three bitches. So the Fat Bottom Betty, not the Crazy Alice. Oh, Sweet Jane. Sweet Jane.
Yeah.
It was the Sweet Jane.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I smoked that with strawberry wine.
Strawberry wine.
Strawberry wine.
Okay.
Yeah.
See,
super cheap. I did not bring nice stuff. I'll just put that out there now.
Nothing wrong with that. That's fine. And my last one, I smoked, what did it say, Thursday? 2 days ago when I was doing my newspaper layout. On the way back from Indy, I stopped off in Brownsburg at Smoker's Choice because they have a very large humidor there. And I picked up a Henry Clay Warhawk, and I love that cigar. I always say this when I talk about this one. I like the Rebellious, which was their limited edition one that they did, better. But, it was limited edition.
Smoke what you could get.
You can't, whatever. But I had that Warhawk while I was doing my layout, and it was fantastic, and I enjoyed it. So
sounds good.
Yep.
You picked up quite a few when you were there.
I did. I did do a little damage when I was at Brownsburg there. It was, I like picking up stuff. Oh, my gosh. I like picking up stuff that I don't see here.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that I needed to stock up on some of that stuff. And then I have thoughts. I have ideas. I have things that I would like to do. And I buy cigars for that. But I just don't have the time to do it. And so I haven't done it yet, but they're still sitting there. They're waiting for these projects. I don't even want to say what the projects are because I don't want people to be like, when are you going to do that?
Right.
It's like
the pressure's on.
Well, yeah, it's like when I was talking about, my email newsletter. It's like I put out one of them and I never did another one. And it's like, then I get people yelling at me like, when are you going to do another newsletter? It's like, well.
You're like, when I have 40 hours in my day.
Yeah, it's like, when I have a life again and have a little time. And that still hasn't happened years and years
I know.
later. So.
There's that meme that's like, oh, I keep thinking I just need to get through this week. That's what adulthood is. I keep thinking I need to get through this week, and we say that every week.
There are days I'm in the shower that it's just like, I just need to get through today.
Yeah.
Not even the week. I just need to get through today. And then it's like, then I'll be fine. But, yeah.
That's how I felt on that Evernote day.
I can imagine so.
Just need to get through today.
Okay, well, let's do this now. This would normally be the time that I give some information about My Monthly Cigars, but I've hired that out this week, so take it away.
My Monthly Cigars is a premium cigar subscription service. It comes in a variety of different size boxes at affordable prices. Use offer code PULPIT and get free shipping on your first box and 20% off any items in the online store at mymonthlycigars.com.
That's offer code PULPIT. Thanks. People are going to think that you and I did that live. We didn't do that
We
live.
did not.
Did not do that. I think at this point they know it's pre-recorded. Yeah, so. Anyway, in terms of the socials, I'm on Instagram at The Cigar Pulpit. Guys, we have on Facebook, we have the Cigar Pulpit Parishioners group. It's a fun place, and you should come and hang out and post pictures of what you're smoking there. I'm on Twitter /X, don't really do much there. YouTube, where you can watch this, and then Ask the Boys. So we are now, give or take, close to mid-month, and I currently have a call. A single
come on.
call. So, guys, call in to Ask the Boys. Area code 863-874-0000. Call in, leave your questions, comments, whatever. I mean, I need the calls. Now, I'm going to go ahead and throw this out. I have some stuff that I procured for Pulpit Fest. So maybe this month the best caller is going to get a prize pack of some cigars and some fucking good coffee.
There you go.
So call in with your comments, your questions, whatever. And during that episode, after all the calls have been answered, we will determine what the best call was, and that person will win a prize. So if you want to win some stuff, all you got to do is call area code 863-874-0000 and leave a call. That's all you got to do. Anyway.
All right. That's a good prize pack, too. I know what you're referring to.
Yes, exactly.
It'll be.
It's
well worth it.
It is worth it.
It's worth 2 minutes of your time.
2 minutes of your time. One quick phone call. All you got to do, come up with something witty, something clever, something interesting, something that we can like spitball on, and we can go from there. Are you doing Ask the Boys with me this month or no?
Probably not this month.
Probably not this month.
If we book it ahead.
We can't book it too far ahead, though, because people got to call because nobody calls.
Well, we'll figure it out and we'll promote it.
All right. I don't know who, as listener Dave put it, I don't know who's going to be riding bitch with me this month for Ask the Boys, but we'll have somebody good.
You'll figure it out.
I try to have somebody good for that episode. We'll figure it out. We'll make it happen.
I have faith.
I'm sure it'll work out. So, anyway, and then where can people follow you? If you know.
I mean, I used to be on Instagram more. I'm really not. It's
say,
still active,
really,
but I'm not.
Pinky Smoke Cigars.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't really post there anymore, do you?
No.
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 That's okay. It's work.
It is work, and it just social media in general. It goes back to our conversation earlier. I'm kind of over stuff. Like.
I get that.
Yeah.
I get that.
Luckily, I don't have to do it. Really.
I haven't been posting Instagram nearly as frequently.
No. See, it's
mostly just promoting show episodes.
It ebbs and flows. Sometimes I like it, and sometimes I want nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I don't know. I've kind of gotten to the point that it's like, how many more pictures of my hand holding a cigar or my cigar rested on the table? How many more pictures of that can people look at and be like, oh, look at that? Mm-hmm, it's like, I don't know. I need to figure that out.
And I definitely used to feel like each social had its own vibe.
Yeah.
And so I got a Facebook years ago because it's super political, lots of
opinions
and stuff, which I will sit down and talk to anybody about anything, but I want to do it face to face because you've got to, anyway. And Instagram's the only thing that I have an active account on, and that is become the same as Facebook used to be. Like Instagram at that point was just a lot of pictures, and maybe it's the accounts I follow, I don't know, but it's, it's the same volume of political stuff.
Oh,
and
it's definitely the accounts
it used to
follow.
be the fun. I know, and I probably should not follow them.
I have managed to massage the algorithm in such a way that my Instagram is pretty fun still. I will say I liked it better when it was more pictures.
Yes.
I do not like the amount of video that has crept into Instagram. I liked the pictures better.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. I went there for pretty pictures and stuff.
Kids and dogs. That's what.
Right? Tiny houses.
Tiny house. We have to talk about that next time.
Okay.
We send each other like fun, beautiful tiny houses.
Yes.
And we stayed in a tiny house like a month or two ago when we went hiking.
You and Javier, not me and you.
Right. Yeah, let's clear that right up.
Jose. We have never stayed in a tiny house
I
together.
came back from that and was like, I want to throw everything in my house out. Like it just,
Yeah.
I don't know how practical that is, but it's how I felt. I
it's one of
don't
those,
need all the stuff.
So as a nerd, collecting is part of like my DNA. And so I have a lot of stuff. But as I'm sitting here, like the last couple of months, I've been like, why do I have all this stuff?
Yeah.
And it's like, I've got a gold mine sitting in my storage unit of things that if I were to like take the proper amount of time to really post and try and sell, I probably could make some decent money.
Oh.
Pull together a nice little chunk of change and whatever on it. But I think to myself, like, do I want to get rid of my collection? Do I want to do that? But man, it's tempting because I look at these tiny. Now, granted, you've been to my place. I'm basically living in a tiny house, but there's even stuff there I want to pare down and get rid of and things like that. It's like I've got just a lot of.
That's another area
stuff.
where you and we talk about this a lot. We're very, very different.
Yeah.
I am not a collector of anything.
Yeah.
Nothing. I don't begrudge people that do it. It bothers me none that you love collecting and having stuff. But to me, it's like hey, it's I'm like, for what? Like, what am I doing with it? What am I?
Well, it's like I was talking earlier about physical media, wanting to actually have the book, have the whatever. It's like I've got a lot of that shit.
Yeah.
And it's like,
and to me, physical clutter equals mental clutter.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you walked through my kitchen today. Like right now, it's driving me nuts because it's cluttered. We were out of town. We have stuff all over the kitchen table. Like, if I got that cleaned off, I would physically feel 10 pounds lighter.
Less
I can't even.
is definitely.
Do you feel that in your life? Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, okay. So my place was very cluttered there for a while, and I've spent the better part of the last month and a half, like decluttering a lot of areas, and so like my place is like looking better. I still have some work to do, but it's getting there.
Yeah,
it's getting there. And as it was getting there, when I got various things done, yes, I felt immensely better. And so it's like it's me telling myself like, yeah, I need to pare down. I need to get it. But like, for example, I have a lot of books in storage. Not even comics, just like books.
Oh.
Like in storage, and I have a full bookcase at home. I have 3 bookcases and the appropriate amount of books in storage. And it's like these books, they're all things that either I've read and enjoyed and want to hang on to, or they're things that I haven't read that I would like to get to at some point. And I don't want to like get rid of them because, again, I'd like to get to them at some point. And so it's like, it's that kind of a thing, So
the fact that you have a storage unit with stuff in it.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to say it gives me anxiety because like I said, I don't care about what your stuff.
It gives me anxiety because I need to clean it out.
I
need to organize it and get it cleaned out, right?
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, just full transparency, I got that storage unit when I, got divorced, and I just moved shit into it, and I haven't taken the time to actually go through it and determine, like, why did I move this? Let's get rid of this. Why, let's get this organized. Let's get this. It's kind of just in there.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's a mess.
But in the meantime,
it's kind of a mess.
It's living rent free in your head that now you've got this thing that at some, unspecified time in the future, at some point when life slows down, at some point other than now, you're going to have to sit down and do that.
And then I think to myself, like, there's stuff in there that I haven't seen now.
Like you don't even know what it is.
2 years.
Yeah. So you don't need it.
So why do I need it? Do I need it?
Right.
Why do I need it? But then it's like, I got to do something with it, and I don't know what to do with it, and it's annoying. But anyway,
I keep threatening I'm gonna get a dumpster and
I ought to get in touch
go
with
to town.
Dave from the Smoking Butts and Tappin' Ash crew, because he's a giant nerd and he likes buying shit.
Oh.
And I ought to just like unlock the unit and just be like, okay, bud.
Make me an offer.
Like
Storage Wars.
Yeah, it's more just, he's not affording this. But, but it's one of those things. It's like, okay, you and I, we're going to organize this. And you want to start pitching prices at me, that's fine. I know his finances well enough to know he's not affording what I'm looking for, though. See, and that's the other problem. Is like, there's a guy over in like St. Charles, he buys collections and things like that. Well, he's going to offer me like pennies on the dollar because he's wanting to turn around and sell it. So I know I'm not going to get the value. So then I have to then become a seller. Yeah. And that's a pain in the ass in and of itself.
Yeah.
And I don't really want to do that. So I don't know. It's just so much work.
It's a lot of work.
So much work. I don't know.
But next episode, we'll talk about tiny houses.
Tiny houses. I like tiny houses.
Because I'm convinced that we can create a smoke shack out of a tiny house.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
What are they called? Not canisters.
What?
What are the boxes called that you rent?
Humidor?
No, the big thing that you move stuff in.
Pods?
Kind of. Like, I feel like we can make a smoke shack out of containers.
Oh.
Containers.
Oh. Yeah, no, I've seen full houses made out of containers. They're nice. Now, the problem with that, you got a lot of cities that have ordinances and whatnot about using containers for buildings and things of that
The city that I live in, I inquired, they allow it.
Really?
They allow people to live in containers.
Really? That shocks me immensely. Because I happen to know that there's a sportsman's club not far from where you live that wanted to make a shooting range, and they were going to have containers that were going to be where the bays for the shooters were at and everything. They were going to have a berm, and they were going to build it. And the county was absolutely not. You're not using shipping containers for anything like that.
Yeah.
So
it could be that
maybe it was because it was a shooting thing, but
could be. But the container ordinance is I feel like it's fairly new because I asked one of the employees about it.
Interesting.
I was like, "Hey, I'm fast. I mean, legitimately, I'm not going to live in a container, but
some of these ones look really nice.
So
though.
Nice, so nice.
Anyway, all right. Well,
there's that.
There is that. So. Well, Pinky, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to hang out and do this, because it's nice to have somebody to talk to. And otherwise, we will, I don't know, we'll circle back up together at some point or another. It's just, like I said, this month's busy for both of us.
Yep. So
it was nice to actually just, smoke what we wanted. So again, final thought on my Bandolero. Really dug it. If you guys are looking for a really good quality smoke, that's one I would highly recommend. And then your classic, your
Aladino classic. It's a pinky scale. I'd smoke it again tomorrow.
There you go. So, well, guys, this has been another sermon. Before I go, how could I forget? So, this episode drops on Friday the 13th. And then on Tuesday, the 17th, I am wheels up and heading to Palm Coast, Florida, where I will be spending time with Ken Clarich at Ash and Ale at his place. So if you're in the Florida area and you want to come out and hang out, I know Thursday the 19th is when Michael Herklotz will be at his place from, I think it's supposed to be from like 1:30 to maybe around 5 during the day. And then there may be another guest that pops in there. I don't want to necessarily make that announcement because I don't know if this person is coming just to hang out and chat with me or if it's like going to be like an actual thing. But let's be real. I get the feeling from Ken that his place isn't like super huge. So if he's there, I'm sure he would say hi to you as well. So anyway, it's going to be a fun time at Ash and Ale. So if you're in the Palm Coast, Florida area, make sure you swing on out and come and hang out with us. So anyway, with that, it's been another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm Nick.
It's Girl Pinky.
Everybody stay safe and stay smoky.